Good day. Welcome to AYI Training Center. I'm Emery Lukumbo. This is the AYI December project coding, which will focus on designing teaching video. So if you are learning a coding, so this will be a great experiment to learn by watching all the teaching projects that will be developed under AYI on the coming days on this December 2022. So to save time, the purpose of this project is to design your unique calculator to which sometimes you can put your own background. For example, like I can say if I have 2 multiplied by 5 equals to 10, so I can clear the calculator and I can put maybe a bracket and then put 4 plus 5 and bracket and multiply by 3 and equal and I clear the calculator. I'm going to go to my desktop and create a folder. The folder, I will name it a calculator project. Then I'm going to go to my Visual Code. I'm going to go to File, open a folder, and I'm going to go to Desktop and then open my folder. On this coding video, I'm going to create 3 pages. Like the first one, I'm going to call calculator, cal.html. I'm going to create another page again. I'll call it calculate again, but this is going to be a CSS. Then I'm going to create the third page, which I'm also going to call it calculator, but this is going to be JavaScript, .js. So I'm going to go here. So now tap your expectation mark and just press enter. You're going to have the whole bunch of code automatically on your HTML. Then I'm going to write the title for this page, AYI project on coding video 1 of page. So I'm going to come down here on the head and then tap link. Just tap link and press enter. Then you're going to have this code. Now from here, you're going to link your calculator CSS. So just first tap slash so that the page can come and select the calculator CSS and remove your slash because it's not going to work if you leave this one. So you're done. Then I'm going to go at the end of my page. I'm going to link the JavaScript page. I'm going to put script. Then I'm going to go inside and tap source, the same thing, and then take a JavaScript and then remove your slash and you save for a window, or you can just go to file and save it. So when I come here, I'm going to tap div, which is, I'm going to put dot class, I will name it mine. Then I close this div. Now inside this div, inside the mine, I have the form. So I just need a form, this tag. Then after the form, I need a div inside, which is if I go to my, so this is my mine div, and this is my form, and I'm going to create another div that's inside the form, which is the style. So I name it the style. So I'm going to say div dot style. Then I'm going to close this div. Then I have the last div with a color white. So I'll call it a div again, div dot, but this one I gave it the class name container. And press enter. Now this is what I have. So I'll go to my CSS. So for my CSS, call my element body. Okay, you can see I just shortened the video. I put the margin 0, padding 0, and then height 100 VH, justify content in the center, and align item in the center, and then background to black. So when you finish tapping this, then save, Control S, save. Now I'm going to go to my folder and then open my HTML. This is what we have. So done for background. Then we go back to our HTML because it's a class. So you're going to call this class, which is a mine. So I say dot mine. I forget to put a display here. So we need to display flexible. To save your time, what I'll do now here, I just copy all this. What you tap on your body, copy all. We're going to use the same attribute. So I'm going to come here and then paste them. Copy and then paste them. So the only difference now here, if you look at our design, this is a red. So I'm going to change this color, a background as red. And I'm going to add the word. Now I'm going to use a pixel. So here I use 350 pixels. And the height, which is on the height, I use 450 pixels. So save your design, and then we add a border. Let me add it between yours so that you can look a border. I use 20 pixels, the mine div. So we're done with the mine div. Then we're going to go to call the form. So I'm going to call the element form. On my CSS, I just copy all these and all this code we use here. Copy them. Then you come here and then paste them. So when you paste now here, so we want to view this place. So what you do, you minimize my width and also my height. Now go back. So I minimize about 10. So I put 40 pixels, and the same thing on the height. But on the height, I take 30 pixels. I minimize 20. So I put 430, and this remains the same. And then the color, we change that color to just click the color. So the one I change, you can use your own color. So in this case here, I use Robert. Yeah, I use a pink. Then you save, and then you look refresh. Then we have the second part of the video. Then now you're gonna call the style. So I'm gonna go back dot style. So after call the style, what you do, I copy this, all the code that you tap, you just come here and then paste it. So when you paste now, you're going to make some change. So you're going to use a percent because I want this style to be the same this one. So I'm going to use percent to avoid confusion. So put 100%, but now the height, we say, let's put 99% of the forms, because this div is inside here, so it must take everything from here. Then the color, I change this color to black. Now that's what, and the radius, everything remain the same. Now when you have a look, this is what you have. Margin bottom, and you put minus 10 pixels. Then from there, you see, then it gives us that face view. Now we're done with this. Now we're going to call. So what I'll do, I'll just put dot container. So on dot container, what we expect on dot container, so it's where we're going to put, that's where all our information will come here. So I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy all this code and just come here and paste them here. So the same thing, we keep 100%, but now we're going to minimize the height, because if you don't minimize the height, it's going to barrier this type of the view. And then I'll put the color of this one, you put white. And we save. So the time that you view this, what happened? Can you take 96%? Okay, that's fine. As you can see, look at, we have the whole setting up on the bottom done. Now we're going to go to the inside part of the work. I'm going to create the input. The input, so let's say, just type input, dot display, the hashtag, then we call the ISP display, and you tap enter. Then the type of this display is the text automatically, and then the class is a 9. Then we also need to give it a name. So I forget, just put name. Name will be equal to also display. There will be a reason why we're giving this. And we go to CSS. We call this class. You can just copy it. Then you come dot and then you paste it. Width. The width is 90%. Then we go. Then the height. We use 50 pixels. Want to have a margin on 10 pixels. Border edges 10 pixels. So padding. Also put 10 pixels. Border, put a border color. We put red. Font size 15 pixels. Text align right. Font width a little bit so it can look nice. I will put bold. Check our current one, and this is what we have. We minimize the height. Okay, we'll minimize the height. So I'm gonna come here and create a div, and with a class name dot row, and I'm gonna close the div. Then inside the div, I want to input the element. So I'm just gonna leave it first like this and press enter. So I want this input to be a button, tap button. So we change this to button. Then I also want to have a value. So the value will change on each input. So I'm gonna first go out. I'll come back that one. Then I want the name also. The name also will change on it. I'll leave it empty. On click. So I'm gonna say on click. It's gonna be. I'm gonna use this word shoot 1. And I'm gonna put bracket. Then I'll come back later. There is a reason why I explained that one. Okay, so this is actually one button. Let me fix it like this. I'm going to copy this code. Copy. In each of the line, we have 4 buttons. So in this div, I'm going to copy and paste 4 of them and the 4th one. Now this will represent the first button. Then what you do, copy all this group, copy and go down. And paste it 5 group because there are 5 lines, 5 second, okay, and 5. So now this will give us the 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line of the buttons, and each line we got 4 buttons. Then save. When you save, then you're gonna have this view. So the value, which is the bracket, the opening bracket, and then we're also gonna use. Then I'm gonna name this as the VB1 inside here, and then call VB1 dot value. So we're gonna use this on JavaScript later. On the second one, I'm gonna put closing bracket, and I'm gonna call it VB2, VB2. So I'm gonna come inside here on the on-click tutorial and tap VB2 dot value. You go to the third one, so you're gonna continue like this. So I'm gonna go to the third one, you put the symbol of. Then we're gonna call this as a VB square. On-click shoot one value of square dot value. So here there's a division, so you put a symbol for division, and then you call it a name VG because of the division, and you come here and say VG dot value. Come on the second line, which is 7. So on the 7, I'll come here and tap the value display 7, and then the name I'll call it V7, Then I'll come in the on click, I'll put v7 dot value. Then the second line, if you look at the group, is 8. So I'm gonna call it 8, and then I'm gonna come here v8. I'll come here and say v8 dot value. And the same here, after 7, 8, we go to 9. I'm gonna go 9 v9. Then you come here, you say v9 dot value. Then the last one, it's a multiplication. So which you come here, you say, you put a symbol for multiplication, and then we call it v multiplication. I'll put vm, and then you come here, you say vm dot value. So you continue for the rest. As you can see, the follow one will be 4, v4, 5, v5, 6, v6, negative, v negative, vn. When you read this part, so what you do, you just have to look at as everything I did. So this is what will display on the screen. So if I tap here, let me clear. If I tap here, this is what will display. Will display this, and we name it v bracket 1. Then this is going to be a JavaScript we call vb1.voila. So the JavaScript will call this voila to display on the screen. So this name, that voila, the JavaScript which we call when you read JavaScript, we're gonna create a function that we call this voila. So this name must be similar to what you tap. You can tap any name, it's up to you. Like I call this vb1, vb1.voila, vb2, vb.voila, the vg voila. So what is the vg voila? The vg voila is the name that I give on this particular input. So I can put VGE. If I put VGE, like VG Vision, VGI, so I must also come here, put VGV.voila. If you don't do that, your JavaScript not going to work. So very important. We're going to go to CSS now to control our design. The first thing I'll do, we're going to put these buttons in one div, all of them. Because what we did first, we just create a block of buttons. So let's come here. After the input text, so we start with the class row. So I'm going to put div, and then we're going to call it button areas of a class. Div dot, and the class will name button areas. So then we close. Now, because this div, we want this all to come inside here, so remove cut to the closing and go to the end of this group of div and then put it there, because so then I'm going to call that button area. I'm going to go to CSS and then I'll call that button. I'm also going to use a word as 90%, and we put a margin 10 pixels. Then we just need to I'm going to copy this so that we can control all the buttons. We put to the display flexible, justify content in the center and align item in the center. The input they are in the container. So let's go to the container, and we're going to add flex directions. So we say let's change to columns. So and we save. So now here is your then dot row. Sorry. So where we want the width of the row to be 100%. I'm going to copy this code to display and flexible in the center. Even from here, I'm going to add a flex direction to be columns. And same thing here, because here is controlling this group to be in columns as well. This also to be, this will control the 5 button, and this will control this group row. This one put column, and this direction we put row. So the button must be, this must be in the row, but the group, this group and plus this group must be in the column, but this button must be in the row. Here, so let's call dot row. So we're going to control the input 20 width, and you say 20%. Then the height, we're going to have to pick up the height of each button. So the height, let's put it at 35 pixels. I'll put 35 pixels. The border radius to be 5 pixels. There's the border. I'm going to put the border none. And then outline, we don't need the outline. We say none outline. Margins. So we say top and the bottom we put about 5 pixels, and then left and right to put 8 pixels. Let's put the background color for the button. So I use RGB 255-1600. Then let's put the font size to be at least 13 pixels. Then the color of the text to be black color. We put black. Form is start coming. We need to go back on the row, because on the row we haven't added the margin. Let's put a margin here. Margin to be 5 pixels. So you're gonna go back to button area. So we have the margin here. Let's go to the container. Padding. Container, because that's the one control all those. These two, our main display and the bottom area are controlled by the container. So let's add the padding inside here. Padding, let's put about 10 pixels. So there we come. But the only difference now is the color. It's not that dark, and you can choose the color. You can change the color you want. So next step is that, you see, if I go here, when I press the button got insert, whereby this one has not an insert. So we're going to go to the input row and then add. So now we're going to put color, put black color. Then after the color, let's put the box shadow. So -3 pixel and also -3 pixel. Then the distance, I'm going to put 8 pixel and 6 and I put RGB. We custom that one and minimize. Okay, let's go inside something closer to here. Okay, then let's add another the positive size. So this comma was not finished. Px. We also repeat the same on the positive side, but we're gonna go, because we took 8 here, I'm gonna put maybe this one 6 pixel, the deepness. And the color this side, let me put close to black. The semicolon. Okay, I don't want to be too black. Let's make it a little bit light like this. Okay, then the next step is to insert. See, when input square bracket tab equal thing, when you press the button, you want the white to change. If someone press to change the color white. So I'm going to say, when the button is pressed, please make sure the color change to white. Then transform scale 5%. Oh, sorry. So yeah, it must be focus. Go and then say focus only when the button is pressed. The scale about 90%. Okay, that's small. Taking small at home. the color can, I'm just going to copy this code here, copy this code, insert, so that when insert, the color must go down, insert color, and I'll make it a little bit now stronger, because I don't want to look similar here. So this is going to change a little bit more like this. And then the next one also, going to go to more dark. So I'm supposed to put insert here. Insert the side as we put this one a little bit dark. Don't have the same because there must be a small change. A little bit dark here. And here we also put a little bit lighter. So control save. So you can use your own color. Then when I come here, refresh, and we're gonna have color white. That's perfect. So let's get done with this. And last part, we're gonna go to HTML. So we can add that text we have at the end. We have the text at the end. It's the this div of the button area. So I'm gonna go to before, after at the end of the last group of the buttons, then you have the div that close the button area. Then this is the container. So I'm gonna add a new div. So I'm gonna add a div, and then I'll give it class AYI project dot AYI project. Enter. So put your own names. It's AYI. This one, video 1 of teachers. So bear in mind, more videos are coming. So this is number 1. So there's still 29 projects remaining. Just copy this CSS, HTML, dot, because the class, font size to be 15 pixels because it's too big. H1, let me use H2 because of the H1. So if I go to my CSS, okay, that's the change. Okay, so you can just change the H1 to H2. So that mustn't be too big as my one. I'm just going to change this one to H2. So I'm just going to go to my CSS and put it at least 10 pixels. If you look at the color here, this is a little bit dark. This one, this is because of this color. So you can still change this. Okay, now you're going to go to the last part of the video, which is the JavaScript, and that's going to be the fastest part. So I'm going to go open my JavaScript page. As we start in the beginning, we did link this page already. I will link it. You can even write everything one page, but when you separate, it's much easier. So the first thing we do in JavaScript is to create this function. It's like if I press the button, and then it must display the name on the display. So I'm going to go to JavaScript, and that function we name it shoot1. So shoot1 I just refer as tutorial 1. So you can give it any name, it's up to you. But make sure whatever name you give it, you must tap it. The purpose of this, when someone click the button, it must call tutorial 1, and that tutorial 1 must call the value. Which value? The value of this name. So the name of this button is VB1, and it must take the value. The value is going to take, which is this open bracket. Like here, if I press this button, which is our button, this is division, it's going to display the division, JavaScript, and we give it a parameter. I can take display. So I want this screen display to be displayed on the screen. So this screen display is actually this volume, this v, because this is my tutorial one, and take this for me, whatever you have, which is on this one, you will have this one display in the volume. If you look at our HTML, we got the ID name called display. So I want this display. Go on this ID. I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to come here, say, go on this ID, and the volume, dot volume. So the display volume must be equal. I'm going to assign this to display the same thing, the same volume, dot volume plus the parameter. So the parameter is this one, so I'm going to paste it here, plus the screen volume. So I'm trying to say, if someone press the button 1, which is the tutorial will pick up this name, plus the display and display here. So from the first one, it's done already. So from here, we're done with the first function itself. And then if I press it, you're going to see the change. I'm going to come here, and then you see, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. 5 minus, okay, 2 is not working, 1 is not working. So these 3 buttons are not working. If these are not working, the reason can be the tutorial. So let's go to the HTML. Okay, there is a mistake. So this is must be V1 because it's we only calling V1. So and then this is V2, and then this is must be V3. I think I did copy when I copy and paste. I confused. And V plus, the plus is working. So Control save because it's calling the wrong. Because here we are calling V3 volume, and then we have the different name. So you can't take this one. So when I save, so you save, and then so now 1, 2, 3 plus. You can check everything. If everything are working, create a function calculation. So use the calculation. If this we're gonna do the echo is one of the calculation. So we're gonna come to the echo symbol, and now we're gonna remove this. So we don't need this one because we don't want to display echo. So we're gonna call this function as calculator. So we don't want, we must just calculate. We must not display the echo. We don't want to display echo on the display. All we want is to calculate. So this function is the one you're going to create to do a calculation. Create a function calculator. Let's say function calculator, and so we're going to put a condition if, because let's say there is no letter display, what must be done? So if there's no letter, so I'm going to say if, then I'll put the conditions form, because all of these are in the form dot display dot value. We assign it if it's equal to it's empty, there's nothing, then what must I do? So we say alert us a message, and that message put a string, please tap the number, else what must it evaluate? So the evaluate is the argument of the function that will evaluate everything. So once if there's nothing tapped here, then display this message. But if there's something tapped there, evaluate that thing. Maybe it says 2 plus 2 give us the result. Then we're going to say form dot display dot value must be 2 equal to evaluate everything that you see displayed on that particular area. So evaluate what? So we're going to put a bracket, evaluate the form dot display dot value. 2 plus 6 equal to 8. 7 multiplied by 9 equal to this. Okay, now we don't have a clear functions, and also our tree is not working. So we're going to go to HTML. We're done for that evaluation. Okay, there is a mistake. We go to capital letter and then we are calling a small letter. So we must turn this to small letter, then it's gonna work. So that is it. Now we're gonna have to do the clear function. So this button is gonna be called C, display C. Okay, we don't want this to display. The purpose of this one is to clear. So we're gonna create a function. So we remove this. So we're gonna say clear button. So we're gonna create this function so that it can clear. So we copy this function. Okay. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna say function clear buttons. So the purpose of this is to clear. So what do we do? What we're gonna do? We're gonna go clear the button. So we're just gonna say document dot get by ID. Get by ID, our ID, which is a display. So we say go to that display, whatever is there, the value of that one must be equal to 0. So put empty on the display. Then this can be our final part on JavaScript. So when you come here, so when I tap 69 clear, -2 clear. So you can see now this function is calculating and this function is clearing. So the last two buttons is different to the other one. So let's come back here. 2 multiplied by 3 equal to 6. Clear to 0. And 4 minus 5 equal to 1. Clear. 2 divided by 5 equal clear. Now one thing left, if I put 2 at the power 3 equal to 1, okay, 2 at the power 8 equal, that is a mistake, okay, because this button is not working. Why is not working? Because on the JavaScript operator symbol is not this, it's W, you need to have a W star. So what we do to avoid confusion, so we're going to go to that name on that particular button, so which is this one. So we're going to give it the ID equal. So this ID you're going to give it equal to, put 2 stars, because this is the symbol that we need calculation anyway. So we create the ID and then we'll come here and so we call the name V square, which is not V square, V power, VP. So you're going to call that VP, the value of the power to be, and then instead of calling value, we're going to call the ID. So we come here and we call VP ID. We don't want to call the value because the value, that symbol, it's fine to display on the button, but on the calculation we want to use the ID. When I use the ID of any number, so I'm going to save this and I'm going to refresh to this. Let me just make a simple one. 2 at the power 3 is going to be 8 equal to 8. So clear. If I put like this, the message comes. This page say tap the number. Now we come at the end of the project. So I'm going to play for you this page so that you can see where you make a mistake. So you can put a pause here. This is the HTML page. So put a pause and then watch. Put a pause and check. Maybe there's a mistake you did somewhere, and then put a pause. So now this shows you entire HTML. This is the view for entire HTML that I use on the project. There is a question, leave your message or your comment. And let me go to the CSS. So I'm gonna first page, the beginning of the page. So in the beginning, you can use all the elements I use, but then further, you can use your own name for you to familiarizing for everything I did. So whenever you move the video and then you put a pause, you look so that you can find where have you done a mistake and fix your mistake. And the JavaScript, it is the shortest one. We only have three functions. The first function for displaying, and the second function calculation, and then the clear button. That's all. So it's the easiest part on this project, which is JavaScript. So we can put a before plus 5, we close the bracket, multiply by 2, maybe plus again a bracket, 2 divided by 2, close the bracket, plus maybe 20 multiplied by 9 equal, that's the answer. So, or maybe 2 at the power 5. Okay, clear first. 2 at the power 6 equal 64. And lastly, if let's say everything is fair, if you press and then you got the message. So that's the final. So I believe you understand from the A to Z, and please follow us and leave a comment, any questions, and let us know and leave your comment, and check the next video 2 of 30 of the project as soon as possible after you watch this video. Because every day, make sure you check our social media, you will see all the videos will be online. Thank you. See you for the next project.